So today we're actually gonna leave Edinburgh and we're headed to a smaller town, Stirling, Scotland, to see a famous castle and to see some other things. And I feel like that's what you need to do. Get out of the big cities and see some of the smaller towns within a country to get to know it better and to learn more about their history, especially when it comes to battles. We gotta catch a train though first. So it looks like we are platform 4, 9:10. Scotland is just so beautiful. It might rain here a lot, but it's just so green. At least it's green right now. I don't live here, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't rain here a lot, but it's just very beautiful. Definitely a reason why you need to take the train. Ah, we made it. Oh yeah. I'm telling y'all, you gotta love small town stations, especially that symbol up there. I don't know what the symbol is, but we love small town train stations. I've only been here for about 5 minutes and the buildings are stunning. And it's giving me small town vibes. It's not so suffocating, you know, when you're in the city. Not that Edinburgh and London are like terrible cities because they're beautiful and amazing for what they do as big cities, but you gotta love the small town vibes. Scotland has a few hills that you gotta go up to, especially when you're going to a castle. And you know, hills are very big for putting huge castles on for defense. If you're coming here with a wheelchair, it's gonna be hell on wheels trying to get up to the castle. I suggest finding a taxi. There are a few, or you'll be in a situation that we're currently in. Me and my dad have been switching back and forth to push my brother up here, and it's not easy. So we made it to Stirling Castle, and the good news is once we got up here, they do offer service to where they will take you up into the castle, but I still do recommend get a taxi. Don't be like us at all. We finally made it up to the hill, and this is Stirling Castle. It's pretty much like a palace with how luxurious it gets inside. Now, this was founded by King James V, and a lot of notable kings and queens actually were crowned here, one being Mary, Queen of Scots. This is a castle that you need to see when you're here in Scotland. There's over 200 sculptures lining the actual palace, and that was because King James was trying to show off with all the other 16th century kings and queens of the day. That's crazy when you think about it. Even when you're a king or a queen, you're still trying to show off for your friends. I stopped doing that once I became an adult because I realized, you know, I'm going to bed with just myself. So I'm just going to focus on myself and the people that I love.
Everything you're going to see is recreated. Yeah. So, in fact, what you're seeing here is a coat of arms, so it represents the king and queen together. That's a joint coat of arms that represents the royal couple. On the left-hand side, you have the unicorn and the lion rampant, the red lion on a golden field. That's the emblem of King James V, the king. On the right-hand side, you have the emblems of the queen. The eagle with a cross of Lorraine hanging from his neck. And all the right-hand side of the shield is the emblem of the De Guise family. So a very prominent family of France. They're very good for networking, you know. That's the reason why she arrived here at some point. But that's also the reason why you meet people like me who have a terrible French accent when they speak in English.
It's way better than mine.
Oh.
So this is the outer hall right outside of the throne room. And if you were, you know, a craftsperson, if you were a shopkeeper, you had to stay in this cold room area. But the good thing about this castle is there's people dressed up that will tell the story and bring the castle to life. And we love castles and museums that do this.
Architecture. But you're not alone though, I should say. You're in here with the rest of the court. Lords and ladies from across the country, poking their nabs, flapping their lugs, listen to your business. They want to know your secrets. Next door, though, however, the Queen's bedchamber, not where she sleeps, it's the Queen's private office. That is a private chamber. The doors close over, it's you, Her Grace, a guard or two, an advisor, that's it. What happens there stays in. If you have any questions, though, do just fire away. I love a good chit-chat, so do. So, madam, they all begin with this piece here or this piece here, depending on the story you're telling. The unicorn is something you want, whether it be love, marriage, immortality, or in this case, it's the word of Christ. This is the passion of Christ. So we have his betrayal in the Garden of Gethsemane, the Roman soldiers here, of course, being pointed by Judas Iscariot to the Christ here Surrounding them are the apostles. We have with the river, we have the trial under Pontius Pilate, of course, where he washed his hands, gave them to Titus Caiaphas to deal with. Up behind me here, we have the scourging, the torture of Christ. Then we have the death on the Mount of Calvary, and then the resurrection.
It's amazing when you travel, the people that you'll meet and how it opens up. It just opens up your mind so much more. And the fact that there's not a lot of things in here that are Scottish besides him, and a few things, that's just crazy. Oh, wow, so this is the Queen's bedchamber. Oh, I forgot to show y'all the ceiling. Look at this ceiling. We gotta go back. Okay, look at this ceiling. When I get a house someday, 30 years from now, I need a huge ceiling and a beautiful ceiling like this. Honestly, it's the little details for me. Like, just look at this bed frame. It really is. We really don't make things how they used to make them back in the day. Okay. This room is more echoey. This is the king's bedchamber. There's nothing in here. It's almost like his wife took everything. Literally. Okay, y'all are gonna hear it a lot in this video, but the ceilings in this castle palace are just remarkable. It's almost like they want you to break your neck, which I'm okay with breaking my neck for this.
It's just it's normal for that. That's how that room would be stripped like that because
his wife didn't take everything?
After his death.
They did not say it regained its original sparkle and swagger. That's crazy. Once again, we are inside of a great hall. And I think this is actually the largest one in Scotland.
No, the last palace was,
You sure?
was longer than this. If it wasn't longer, they're the same length. It was longer.
Look at this ceiling. Sadly, this stopped being the Great Hall once King James VI moved his court all the way to London. But once King James VI moved his court from here to London, this turned into a military barracks. And now they're actually, well, yeah, it turned into a military barracks. They always turn these places into military barracks. Get out, see the world, and come see some castles. Get out of Edinburgh. Get out of Edinburgh. I can't even say it now. Edinburgh. Get out of Edinburgh, get out of London, and come to Stirling. See some small towns to actually see the whole country. And maybe you can come sit here too as a king. When you come to the castle, make sure you give yourself at least 3 hours because you can go outside of the actual castle gates and there's this beautiful, gorgeous view where you can walk up to see the mountains. It's so beautiful. And there is a cemetery down there. So sadly, we're not gonna get the chance to go to Holyrood Church because they don't open up until May 1st. They're actually closed right now. That's definitely my bad, but sometimes that happens when you're traveling. Maybe, you know what, let's take a walk into the cemetery. Normally I would not say that, but here in Europe, some of their cemeteries are very beautiful. So even though the church is closed right now, you can actually still go to the cemetery. But I didn't want to speak while I was in the cemetery out of respect to all of the people that are buried there. But there are a lot of different gravestones from the 1700s, the 1800s, and the 1900s. It's a very old cemetery. What is up with this Scottish weather? Literally, like 15 minutes ago, it was hailing. The weather here in Scotland is wild. You never know what to expect. Now it is little tiny hail coming down here at this castle. And it's 8 degrees Celsius right now. What a time to be alive. Hopefully in a few hours it'll be sunny. And now the sun is beaming down on my head. You can see the church and how beautiful it is. Now, even though we're not gonna get the chance to go inside Holyrood, some quick facts. The reason where Holyrood comes from is actually Holyrood, which is actually based off of the Christian relic that was on the cross that Jesus Christ was crucified on. So that's pretty crazy. It's wild. At least looking from the outside, the church is very beautiful, and it is the oldest, oh, sorry, I lied. The second oldest building here in Stirling. Built in the 12th century during the era of King David I. I think I'm gonna get sick here in this Scottish weather. Don't wanna leave you guys again. I mean, unless you wanna stay here in Scotland. Man, they even got a street cleaner here. Like, everywhere I look, it's just beautiful. Maybe it's just the American in me, but wow. And then, like, look at that church right there. You gotta admit that it is pretty beautiful, isn't it?
Yes.
So we're actually going to try to use the bus. We're actually going to try to use a bus here in Stirling to get to Wallace's monument next instead of a taxi. So we're here at the bus station right by the train station. And we're going to be taking bus number 52. The buses here do take contactless payment. So if you have your card, Apple Pay, Google Pay, you can get on the bus. And I think that's one of the best ways you can actually see a city. The bus, the train. Now I gotta hike up to this tower. Oh, wow. Okay, y'all, that tower looks very beautiful right now. Look at this. Just perched up there. Okay, wow, if that's the tower, or the Wallace Monument, this is something different. It's not just a castle again. Dad?
I do a 5K.
Yeah, but sometimes you need to slow down and just hike up and just smell some coffee or some weeds. You need to smell some weeds, Dad.
Huh?
You need to smell some weeds. That's what you need to do sometimes. Okay, Dad, now you're just showing off.
I'm not.
Are you feeling it yet?
Huh?
Are you feeling it yet?
What do you mean?
Feeling the altitude?
Deep breath, push it out through the mouth. Get a meditation at the same time.
That's how you know he runs every day. 10-minute hike up to the monument. Excited, because we seem to like towers, just like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. You remember that?
Yep.
We did a video on that actually right here if you click this right here. This is one of the reasons why traveling is good for the soul and the heart and the body. According to the sign, we're halfway there. Halfway there. But that's one reason why, even though, making videos can get exhausting mentally, it's good for the body with all the walking around the cities that you do. That's the monument right there. Okay, let's go. You know what's crazy, but also makes me happy in my heart? My dad beat me up to the hill. My dad. You really do be out here running, don't you?
Yep.
How many miles do you run a day?
5K.
3.2, okay. How should you get on that European wave and measurement system?
Because if you go by miles, you'll miss it if you get 3 miles. It's a little over, it's a 1.00 something. So I said, the heck with that. Just run until you get a 5K.
We like that. And look right here, the beautiful Scottish flag and the monument.
But I still get on that.
Over 200 steps to the top of this monument. At least there's levels to this to give you a break. This is the first floor for William Wallace, where you can actually watch and a story where it'll tell you the history of William Wallace.
Pushing forward, the Scots gain ground. Chaos breaks out in the tracks as many are slain and trampled underfoot. Stirling Bridge comes. The waters turn red with blood. Against all odds, the Scots are victorious. The nobles reward Wallace with a new role, guardian of the realm of Scotland.
So apparently someone vandalized the case that holds the sword. Can't really have nothing nice. And why can't people just worry about themselves instead of vandalizing historic artifacts? They even have different languages here. They have Dutch, Deutsch, Italian, Spanish, or Portuguese. I don't know because it's Brazil. Polish. Oh, sorry, Spanish. And then that must be Portuguese. So this is the hall honoring the heroes on the second floor. So a lot of different sculptures, busts of different heroes. What do you think, Dan, so far?
Looks good.
I like how there's levels to it, and you don't have to walk all the way up just to see the view. There's levels to actually honor Wallace too, and also honor heroes of Scotland. I didn't know that Wallace was not a noble. He didn't have a lot of money. He was just a simple person, and he really loved his country. He really understood the meaning of love of country. And a lot of different people throughout history probably got inspired by it. Not sure. Joan of Arc in France. My president, George Washington. And it's just crazy to think about that it does not matter what family you come from, but you can also give something to your country. You can give something to your family. You can give something to yourself. If you're coming to Stirling, make sure you put this on your list. When you come outside from the monument, you get a beautiful, gorgeous view. And there's actually a map that shows you where the Battle of Stirling Bridge was, which was in this direction. I'm not gonna get into the history of Scotland and England, but let's just say that England was always bullying Scotland just like the rest of the world, so we're just gonna leave it at that. But Sir William Wallace, a national hero of Scotland, defeating the English at the Battle of Stirling. Stirling, I'm sorry I did not get the chance to see everything, the museum, the Old Town Jail, and so much more here, but that's what I'm starting to learn more about travel. Like, you don't get the chance to see everything, but that still leaves you wanting to see more of that place, so I guess I have to come back to Stirling. I don't know where I'm headed to next, but I know it's somewhere here in the UK. Hit that subscribe button and follow me to 196 countries. With that being said, I gotta go lay down now.